2,000 years ago, there was a young woman named Mary, and an angel visited her and said, Joseph loves her very much, and she'll have a baby named Jesus. And then they had to pay taxes, so they ran away, and they tried to find a place to stay, but everywhere was full. And the man let them stay in their barn, and Jesus was born in a hay crib, kind of like.
Hello! Is everybody here? People, turn your screens on. This isn't school. I don't care what else you're doing, but we need to get this Christmas pageant put together. I know it isn't the usual Trinity Christmas Eve thing, but I'm pretty excited about it. First of all, we get to be in charge because we have a lack of, shall we say, technological expertise among the adults at our church. And because we're using video and recording in advance, we don't have to worry about all the chaos and mistakes that happen when we are live and in person. We can cut that all out. So I, for one, know that this is going to be the absolute best Trinity Christmas Eve pageant ever. Who's with me?
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm here.
What?
How long is this going to take? I have something else in an hour.
Great. Then let's get started. As we discussed, I think we'll start the story when Mary gets the big news that she's going to have a baby. The angel appears, freaks her out, but then she thinks about it, realizes that it's an awesome thing, and is totally okay with it.
Yeah, it's done.
Let's see it. Okay, I see what you did there. So the thing is, where's the sound?
There is none.
Well, yeah, I heard that. Or rather, I didn't hear it. Why not? How are we supposed to know what's happening if we don't have sound? People need to know when she found out she was pregnant that Mary had an experience with an angel. That's what gave her the strength and the fortitude and the faith to survive. In her day, being pregnant and unmarried was a really scary thing. How did she handle it? She had to know that God was with her.
You don't get that from what you just saw.
Well, I did, and I was just thinking, how do we know that there was sound at all? Maybe the message Mary heard from the angels was silent, like in her mind. I bet that's how messages from God sound most of the time. It's not like anyone else saw what happened. In the Bible, she was by herself. That was good thinking, Carson.
Okay, let's come back to that. Did anybody else give me something with sound?
Oh, I did. You're gonna love it.
Great. Let's see what you've got.
No. Are you an angel?
Be happy, Mary. God has chosen you for a wonderful thing. You are going to have a very special baby. You must call this baby Jesus because he will be God's chosen one, God's Messiah.
But how can that be? I'm not married.
God will make this happen in a way that you will find hard to understand.
Well, if that's what God wants to do, then that is what will happen.
Sadie? That's the same scene.
I know, but mine has sound.
Yes, it has sound, but we don't need two of the same scene.
Maybe it happened more than once.
To Mary?
Yeah, maybe she didn't believe it the first time. I'm not sure I would.
You have a point. Still, there are other issues with this version. I'm sure you would agree. Also, did you film that on Zoom?
Yes, I thought making the technology part of the context would add the modern touch that is so important these days.
But we're not going for modern. It's a Bible story. Old, ancient, in the days of yore.
Oh, then you're really not gonna like what comes next.
Why? What did you do?
Well, I was in charge of the announcements about the census.
Right. We were going to fast forward several months to the part where Emperor Caesar Augustus announced that he was conducting a census and that people had to go to their ancestral hometowns for the registration. You know, we can just cut out the whole Mary finding out she's pregnant thing. Start right there. This is the real story after all. So let's begin at the beginning of Luke chapter 2.
I should warn you.
Roll it!
Hi, this is Charlotte reporting for Portage Online. Due to the world pandemic, our government has announced that everyone must return to their homes. I know this is not what we planned for this year, and it might be inconvenient for you, but our government needs to do this. We need to keep track of our numbers. The ICUs and hospitals can only handle so much. We need to make sure our health system can handle this. We need to count. And everyone, please go home.
That's your announcement? What does that have to do with the Christmas story?
Well, it's our story. It's Christmas. And don't you think the connection is really interesting?
I don't. I guess we can just cut that out.
Oh, I hope we don't cut it out. I was thinking about the Christmas story as if it was happening today. Isn't that what we hear in church all of the time? That the Bible stories don't really mean much if we don't put them together with our real lives?
Okay, we'll call that the contemporary connection. Can we get back to the Mary and Joseph part then?
Oh, that's me. I'm quite proud of what I've done here. I have a Mary who's pregnant in real life and a Joseph who is actually a carpenter. You're going to love this.
I just got off the phone with the Bureau of Statistics. We have to go to Bethlehem and register.
We have to?
Yes.
Okay, we're on our way. By the way, kids, always remember, safety first.
Wasn't that great?
Well, the costumes are better. I'll give you that. But I don't know if we can pull up the volume where Mary says they have to go to Bethlehem. I'm not loving the safety first comment.
You don't believe in safety? Who doesn't want to promote safety? That's the message that everyone is giving these days. Stay safe. Plus, that's the educational part of this video. My videos are always value added.
Right. Should I even mention the fact that there were no power tools in the Bible?
Wait till you see part 2. Mary and Joseph are getting ready to go to Bethlehem.
Mary, do we have everything for the trip?
I think so. I've got some water and food and dog food.
Okay, and then we have the horse.
And masks.
Let's not forget the mask.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, we're good to go.
Was that supposed to be a donkey?
With sound effects.
And the dog?
You can't leave your dog at home when you're going away. That's just irresponsible pet ownership.
And there's more. I've got them actually on the journey to Bethlehem.
I'm pretty sure that would be more accurately described as the journey along Crescent Lake, with a clear view of snow and ice. Need I remind you that the road to Bethlehem is in a very different climate zone than the Manitoba Prairie?
Sure, but did you like how I kept in the part at the end where they start to laugh? I think to survive the journey and take on this amazing challenge, they would have had a pretty good relationship. I think they would need to like each other and even on a hard journey, find things to laugh about on the way. Sometimes laughing helps you deal with the hard times.
Not sure that's a message I ever heard in the Christmas story, but we might have to go with it. I'm running out of options for cutting things out. I'm also starting to think this might be the worst Christmas pageant ever. I'm almost afraid to ask. Does anyone have the scene where Mary and Joseph arrive in Bethlehem, but they can't find a place to stay? Anyone? Did I lose internet connection? Am I frozen? Anyone? Did no one film the Bethlehem arrival scene where there was no room at the inn? That's famous. It's iconic. It's practically the most important part of the story. That's where Jesus was born in a stable.
Actually, we translate it wrong all the time. Just because there was a feeding trough doesn't mean it was in a stable. But you probably don't want to get into ancient Middle Eastern culture now that we're making all these modern connections. Anyway, I have an idea. Who on here can take your device near a door?
Do you have any room?
Sorry, no room.
Hi, do you have any room?
Nope, no room here.
Do you have any room?
No, no room here.
That was pretty creative. Okay, so we've made it to Bethlehem. Now we move to shepherds abiding in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night.
I have something for that.
You do have a minimal sort of vision, but in what way is that a flock? It's one chicken.
But they're keeping watch.
Right. Anyone else have shepherds in the fields?
Oh, I have something.
There were shepherds watching over their oddly large red sheep.
Stop! Oddly large red sheep?
Yes. You don't follow that?
They're cows. Why didn't you just say cows?
Because you said we were supposed to stick with the story in the Bible. The Bible doesn't mention cows, and they're clearly in the fields. You can hear the wind howling. It was quite a sound issue for us.
Okay, fine. Then an angel appears.
Oh, that's me. Roll it.
Don't be afraid. I've got great news for everybody. Today in the city of David, a baby is born. Who is Christ the Lord? Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth.
Wait, did the one shepherd become an angel? And are the dogs now part of the heavenly host? I did like how sort of scary and yet joyful the angel was.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do, so I just told them to figure it out. And I think they did. I like it anyway, especially the holy dog and the angel chorus.
I like your angels. Can we go back to my clip now? We didn't finish in the fields.
Why do we seem to have duplicate scenes every time the angels are sharing news?
That seems about right. I'll bet that God has trouble giving messages to people in our world. If someone told me about a message from God, I would never believe them right away. There are way too many scams.
Okay, Sadie, let's go back to your segment.
There were shepherds watching over their oddly large red sheep. Suddenly, God's angels stood among them, blazing in glory. The shepherds were terrified. As angels often do, the angel said,
Do not be afraid.
Then the angel continued,
Good news. A Savior has been born in the city of David. He is Messiah and Lord. Your sign is this: an itty bitty baby in a food trough.
Suddenly the angel was joined by a multitude of angels singing God's praises.
When the angels left for heaven, the shepherds talked it over. So they rushed to find Mary, Joseph, and the baby in the manger. Seeing is believing, and they impressed everyone they met by sharing what they had seen. Mary treasured these things, and the shepherds glorified and praised God for what they'd seen and heard, just as they'd been told.
Whoa, you just kept going with the whole story. It was just supposed to be in the fields. And I know that the Bible didn't technically say stable, but I'm pretty sure that Mary didn't take Jesus up to the field. Where does she think she's going?
Well, it's hard to figure out where to stop once you start. And Mary sort of had a mind of her own. But that's good, don't you think? We've already said how difficult a situation this must have been for her. Being Jesus' mom would have been a hard job. She needed a mind of her own.
Okay, you aren't wrong about that. But I really don't know what to do with any of this. If I start cutting out all of the things that don't fit and aren't exactly right, there's going to be nothing left to show. This is not what people are going to expect for the Christmas Eve service. It will definitely not be in the running for best Christmas pageant ever.
I don't know about that. The point of Christmas is that God shows up in places that we don't and ways we don't expect, right? When people expected a king on a horse, they got a baby in a barn.
Right. God doesn't show up in places for money or power, but the ordinary places where people are sick and afraid and concerned and worried and sad. All the times and places when people don't know how things are going to turn out.
Right. And if our pageant reminds us of anything, it's that Christmas is for an imperfect world full of imperfect people. Jesus was born to bring love into a world that really needed it. And right now, we have an imperfect world, lots of imperfect people, and a world that could really use some love. Our nativity scene just needs to be full of people in the midst of love.
Maybe not full of people. Remember, part of love for others is keeping our distance right now.
That's okay. It can happen one household bubble at a time. Check this out. We've got a real baby in this one.
Okay, yes, that is pretty great. I could almost see the love. I don't even care that pretty much every detail that was totally wrong.
Except for the baby.
I think the important details were totally right.
You might be right about that too. Okay, well then, I guess that's our show after all. It's really not how I thought it would turn out, but I'm starting to think that maybe Christmas is supposed to be that way. Thanks for your hard work, everyone, and all the cast in your segments. It gives me a whole new way to look at the Christmas story. Or lots of new ways, really.
Wait, you forgot my last scene. There are wise people noticing a star in the distance.
Right, that's where the story goes next. I sort of feel like those stargazers, noticing something new and wondering where it goes next. No dialogue, just a simple image making us realize there's more to the journey and that God is with us on the way, no matter where it leads. Carson, I think you found the perfect place for us to end. Merry Christmas, friends. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well done, people.
Echo.
Okay, Amelia, I wanted to read you one speech of yours, didn't I? You remember me saying that? You don't remember me saying that? Is Amelia frozen? Does anyone know? Is everyone frozen? Am I frozen? I think I'm frozen. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, I think I was frozen. Was I frozen?
I don't know.
I was so confused.
I was so frozen.
Yeah.
Okay. I was doing that thing that Amelia does earlier in the play where it's like, hello? I think I'm frozen. Is anyone? Yeah, that was embarrassing.